Hello, VCA family, and welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. This is going to be one wild adventure, but I am so excited to have your student in my class this year. So I'm going to give you a little PowerPoint just to give you a little bit about me, the materials that you need, and what can be expected inside of this classroom this year. Now, when your student comes on the first day of school, they will be given a syllabus of everything that they could possibly need to know about my class, specifically things that are tailored to their actual class. So it'll have course descriptions, rationales, the different types of activities, and even some of the things that I'm already going to say in this video will be reiterated on the syllabus. So have no fear, you will have something on paper, and I'll even put it on our new learning platform as well so that you can see it digitally. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you to show you the PowerPoint that I've created to make it easy to follow along. So again, my name is Miss Broom, if you did not catch that in the beginning, and I am in Portable 12, which is the very first portable on the right-hand side in the back set of portables. So a little about me, this is my 5th year of teaching overall. It's my 3rd year of teaching at Victory. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time here at Victory. I have loved creating the relationships that I have with the students. The staff here is amazing, and it's an excellent learning and growing environment for everyone. And I plan to stay here for a while. So I am also married. This is my 4th year of marriage. My husband and I serve on the worship team at our local church at Vivid. And it's just a great way for us to share our love for the Lord through the talents that He has given us. And we love serving together at Vivid Church. Aside from singing, another few hobbies that I have are reading and working out. Reading is my absolute favorite hobby, and as an English teacher, my whole goal is to also instill a love of reading into your students. So we will be doing choice reading. We'll be looking at novel studies. We'll be analyzing different types of text, because at the end of the day, readers are learners and leaders, and I cannot wait to share my love for reading with your students. I also thoroughly enjoy working out. I'm a group fitness instructor at the Southside YMCA. I teach body pump and body flow, so fitness is a huge part of my life, and it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. If you ever need to contact me about anything, my email address is gbroom@victorylakeland.org. You can expect a response from me within a 24 hours of the time that you sent my email. My goal is to get it back to you sooner than that, but just to give a little buffer room, you can always expect a response from me within 24 hours. If you would like to do a phone conference or call me about any questions that you have or clarification that your student may need on an assignment or something that you see in the syllabus, you can call the school number, and then my extension is 372. You can call me anywhere between 2:05 and 3:30, but my email is always open to you. That gives you easy access to hear back from me in a quick manner, but the phone is also available. When it comes to parent-teacher communication, anytime that you have an issue, a question, I'm always open to hearing back from you. So please do not feel like you're burdening me when you reach out to me, because communication with you and with your students is one of the most important things that I can cultivate in order to create easy flow of information and communication from me to you. So what materials does your student need to be successful in this classroom? So they will need 2 different types of notebooks. One, they need a notebook for note taking, so then they can keep all of their notes and thoughts in one space. They also need a writing composition notebook for writing. The goal this year is to see the progress of writing that your student has, and how we can do that is by using 2 different types of portfolios. One in an actual notebook for students who do better with just writing on a piece of paper, and then also a digital portfolio through our new learning platform that we'll mention in a second. They also need a folder to keep their documents and other work in. I'm going to be providing them with graphic organizers, sometimes guided notes, and so an easy place for those to stay is within a folder. They also need pens or pencils for note-taking or test-taking. These will be things that are used often, these top 4. These are like daily usage. So if you need an abundance of anything, it will be those 4 things. Students will also need highlighters for annotating. So as I stated, we will be reading and dissecting many texts this year. And one easy way to decode a text is to use highlighters, because we can use pink for word choice. We can use yellow for character actions. We can use green for theme. And so using those highlighters to enhance your students' ability to look at a text is perfect. They will also need colored pencils and or markers for posters and visual learning. Some collaborative processes might look a little different this year because of COVID-19, but I still want to include that creative element inside of this classroom. So in order to do that, they need colors. They need something to be colorful with. Students will also need index cards for studying. Some students really learn well from creating study cards for themselves. Another way that we can use this is through games like Pictionary or other things where we just need just a square of information. So those are of importance. Another huge thing for this year is an email address for online learning tools. So inside of my classroom, we use places like Quizzes and Quizlet and quill.org and NoRedInk, and all of those things need email addresses in order to access. So if they have not created a Gmail account already, it would be imperative or of their best interest to go ahead and do that before school starts. So when we start logging into those learning platforms, they already know which email they're supposed to use. And just as a friendly reminder, due to COVID-19, the sharing of classroom materials will be very limited. So it is of the utmost importance that your student gets all of these supplies that I've stated on this screen. Now, will they forget sometimes? Will they all of a sudden need a pencil? Of course, and I'm not saying I'm not going to give them something. It's just the overabundance of sharing that we are used to is very different this year. And so it would be of your students' best interest to come in already prepared without feeling like they're not going to be able to do something because they don't have what they need. Alrighty, so on to our Schoology learning platform. So this is a new learning management system that we at VCA have adopted this year. This program will help make learning and communication easier for our students and families. Each student will have their own Schoology account, which will allow them to view assignments, submit classwork, and receive feedback from their teachers. During the first few weeks of school, VCA students will learn how to use Schoology and begin working alongside their teachers to explore new learning opportunities. For those of you online, a training video will be provided. By using one simple platform, we can encourage collaboration and give students the tools they need to be successful learners at home and within the classroom. So this new learning platform that we have, we are very excited to push out and to work with this year. I don't know about you, but I was really worried about the collaboration aspect of what that would look like because of COVID. And Schoology is an excellent place where students can easily collaborate and work together, work with me, and it still be safe and healthy. So we will be giving you a bit more information as it comes with Schoology. We are working with creating those accounts and getting them set and ready, but your students will have training inside of my classroom and manipulate it within this safe environment before they ever have to do it on their own. So have no fear there. How will your student be graded? This is also included in the class syllabus, which is why I put please turn to page 3. So when you receive it, it's on page 3 of your syllabus. Homework and classwork are with 20% of your student's class grade. Every day we will be using or manipulating information that will then need to be applied to their homework or maybe what even they're doing in class. Their daily work helps to accumulate a depth and breadth of knowledge of whatever we are covering. So that's why homework is so important. So please make sure, check with your students, look at their agenda. They should always have something written on their daily agenda to do for my class, even if it's just studying or working on something that's due in a few days. But there will never be a blank spot in their homework section. Quizzes are worth 30% of your student's grade. We focus a lot on vocabulary acquisition. And with the increase in writing this year, some of those smaller essays will be included in the quizzes portion. You can expect a vocabulary quiz every Friday for your student. So maybe that's even something that you talk to them about when they get their agenda and they bring it home. They're like, well, you don't have a whole lot to do. How about let's look at those vocabulary words together. We will also have projects, and that's worth 15% of your student's grade. Working together, whether in person or digitally, is a 21st century skill that is vital to help these students for college and career readiness. So when they have a project, they'll be working with at least one other student to either create a PowerPoint, some kind of presentation, so that they can work on those 21st century skills. And lastly, tests and papers are worth 35% of your student's grade. Since this is English, more of their test will look like writing or written materials, since at the end of the day, we want them to be good communicators. And communication on paper is one of the vital means of grading in the post-secondary world, or evaluating in the post-secondary world. So I want the emphasis there to be on writing. Some general classroom rules and consequences. So if you can see behind me, we have a bit of a beach or tropical theme this year. So the rules, if you'll look, create a mnemonic device of beach on the side. So very first, students will need to be prepared daily. They will need to encourage each other. This is a collaborative and welcoming learning environment. Be willing to ask for help. I am here as the teacher to help your student and to let them grow. And so I can't exactly always know where they need to grow if they don't ask for help. I also want them to care about themselves and others. So having respect for your space, for other space, for taking care of your desk, your materials, things of that nature. And then have a positive attitude. Because if you have a positive attitude and you come up to a problem, that problem might not look as big if you have a positive attitude to go along with it. So some consequences for maybe some undesired behavior in the classroom. First off would be a loss of a team point. I have a community of learning in my classroom, and so students are split down the middle, and they can receive points for answering questions, for being engaged in the lesson, and then they can also lose points for talking when they shouldn't be talking, or not working on their work when they should be working. Next, they'll get a verbal warning, and that's just a gentle reminder of, hey, I want what's best for you. The actions that you're doing right now are not excellent, so let's change that. If that doesn't work, then a student-teacher conference happens after class. They will come right here by my desk within social distancing measures with our mask on, and we'll just talk about, you know, what happened in class today? Why did that happen? What can we do better next time? If that still doesn't work, or if the student asks for it, we may need a seat change. Maybe they need a different perspective to look from. Maybe there are some friends around them that are distracting them, and so a seat change may be necessary. Then a parent-teacher phone call and or email that might also accompany a seat change, just so that the parent is aware as to why this happened within the classroom. Again, I always want to be communicating with you about anything that happens inside of these four walls. And then lastly would be a trip to the office. This is not what I want to happen. If a trip to the office occurs, that means that all of these other measures have not worked, and maybe they just need to remove themselves from the situation, talk to Mr. Thomas or Ms. Borders about what happened, and then maybe regroup after that. I want your student to succeed. I want them to know how to work through conflict resolution. I want them to be able to work through hard things in life without getting frustrated or lashing out. And so some of those contexts happen within the classroom. And so I always want to guide them to better ways to handle their emotions, things that they're frustrated with. So always know that a consequence only happens when necessary. And knowing the expectations of the classroom, students practicing on those will keep those consequences from happening. Here's a brief classroom tour, since you are not able to literally see it this year. So right here is our C-worthy work, depending upon if we are doing digital assignments or paper assignments, because we will have a hybrid. I will string the students' work up here on the board so that they can show ownership for the good work that they have done. If it was a digital assignment, I may put it on like a little surfboard and just write their name. This is the style of desk that I have in my classroom for right now. It may change, maybe a bit more spread out, a bit closer, just all depending upon where we are in regards to this pandemic. In the back corner, you will see a homework board where students' homework will be placed every single day so that they have easy access to what is expected of them. This is also the classroom library, which we will safely be checking books out. Students will sanitize their hands before they get a book. The book will be sanitized and left alone for a few days before it's ever put back in the library. And then the next slide. This is our classroom verse for the year, which kind of ties into our school verse for the year. And this is also where students can find paper editions of any absent work. Again, with Schoology, this might become obsolete because I can just transfer whatever they need onto the learning platform. But for right now, I'm going to keep this here just in case. This is also the front of the classroom. So here's our smartboard. And here's a little grammar tutorial to help students out within the first few weeks of class. And one more thing before I go is that I have high expectations for your student in my classroom. I truly believe that students don't really know the potential that they have within themselves. So I'm going to pull some of that out. And some of those times might be difficult. It might be uncomfortable, but just know that at the end of the day, I have your students' best interest at heart. And so they're going to encounter hard things in my classroom. They're going to grapple with hard topics, learn elevated words, read critical thinking passages, and write important analyses. But just know that in everything we do in here, I'm pushing you to become your best self, because I truly believe that some of you have not tapped into your true potential. I am working with you to help you become your best self yet. And I'll be reiterating this on the very first day of school. Your students' futures are the first thing in my mind when I'm teaching them. So I'm constantly thinking, how is this going to better them in the future? How are they going to grow in the future? So along with that comes high expectations. And that is it for my orientation PowerPoint. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you just want to send me an anecdote about anything, please do not hold yourself back from doing that. I am more than welcome to answer any of your questions, and I am excitedly looking forward to working with your student this year in 2020, 2021. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless.